For this speech, I want to talk about slam poetry. Poetry does not have to rhyme. An unknown author wrote this, and I find it written on the board of a poetry meeting. I find spoken word attractive. It never fails to amaze me how open most poets are. Poets must be incredibly strong people to open their hearts to strangers and bleed words of honestly written with ink-stamped poems. I'm not a poet, but I love the art form. Spoken word is often referred to as slam poetry, which, in my opinion, the art form itself is one of the most unique combinations of expression. Because of the impact of the slam poetry has had over time in artistic communities, I will educate you on the history of slam poetry, discuss what classifies as slam poems, and provide the rules and regulations for poetry slam after describing what a poet slam actually is. Written poetry can be appealing to the eyes, but spoken word, in particular slam poetry, is appealing to all the senses at once. Slam poetry was introduced through open mic sessions in cafes across the country back in 1980s. Slam poetry is said to take after Chicago poet Mark Kelly Smith, also known as Slam Puppy. He founded the National Poetry Slam in 1990, which is an annual competition that still goes on today. What actually is slam party poetry. Some poems are poems meant to be performed. Some poems are written to be read, while others are written to be heard. Some poems are meant to be heard. They tend to be political and provoke a reaction from the audience. Slam pieces usually have language carefully chosen to help the audience point a clearly picture of what the author is discussing. Imagery is a very big concept when it comes to slam poetry. Now that you know what slam poetry is, one question remains: what is a poetry slam? According to the Poetry Slam Incorporated, a poetry slam is the competitive art of performing poetry. There are typically three rounds of a poetry slam. For the first round, anyone and everyone can be a part of the slam. The participations in the second and third rounds are usually chosen by the judges through a process of elimination and scoring. There are 5 rules and regulations in a poetry slam. The first is each poem must be original work. The second is each poet gets a 3 minutes plus 10-second grace period to perform one poem. Next rule is that the poem may not use prompts or costumes. The fourth is that in terms of scoring, out of 5 scores received from the judges, the highest and the lowest scores are dropped. The middle 3 scores are added together, and then a point is given an overall score of the number between 0 and 30. Scoring can be broken down into categories such as creativity, use of imagery, active body movement that emphasize main points, voice projectile and point tone. The last rule is that the judges are selected from the audience. Slam poetry is an excellent way to express oneself due to the nature of the art form. By spicing up the combination of your voice, point tone, imagery, and hand gestures during delivery, the slam poem can be a winning pieces. In conclusion, from the descriptions of slam poetry, the art form of spoken word is one of the most unique combinations of expression simply because of all the factors that are involved in a successful slam poem. Slam poetry has been around for a few decades now, and although the political standards have slightly shifted, the original rules and regulations of poetry slam are still honored. Next time you listen to a slam pieces or attend a national poetry slam, remember that the poem does not have to rhyme; it just has to touch your heart.